Okay, so we have come today for another edition of Uplift with Cliff, and I'm going to make sure that we've got all of our settings in place and that we don't have some of the same mistakes that we made last week. I hope everyone is getting a chance to tune in. They told me to slow down just a little bit and let people get online, and staff were logged in good. Looks like everyone can see what's going on. Today is Monday, April 20th, and we're still in the midst of the Orlando worldwide quarantine. I have to say that things just keep getting more interesting by the day. You know, when you read your local news, it says one thing. You look at national news, it says another thing. And it becomes quite clear that you're going to have to do your own thing here eventually. So what we're doing today is allowing everyone a chance to get logged on. Last week I started, and whereas we ended up with a couple of people online, we started off with a couple of people online. We actually ended up with several thousand people tuning in. I was very impressed. The views just kept going on and on and on, and it let me know that we were spot on in Orlando with regards to everyone's getting tired of hearing the negative news. Everyone's getting tired of turning in and tuning into the television, and all you see is negativity. Every website you go on is talking about what's wrong or what went wrong. All the national news is focused on Washington and what Washington is doing or is not doing right. And your state news, everything's focused on your local governor. And so at some point in time, the message always makes it back to one of the themes that we shared on last week. I see you, Adriana, Jackie, I see all the staff people tuning in. The message always gets back to one of the things that we talked about last week, and that is the fact that you've got to be your own hero. You know, when Trump can't do it for you, or DeSantis can't do it for you, Demings is not going to do it for you, and Dyer's not going to do it for you, then who is going to do it for you? And at some point in time, you're going to have to do it for yourself. So one of the themes last week was the fact that you've got to be your own hero. You've got to be the hero that you're looking for, because if not, none of these other entities or groups or people is going to make it happen for you. It won't be your membership at the Y. It won't be the fact that you're a great Democrat or a loyal Republican. That's not going to get your business going back again. It's not going to get your family back on track. It won't be a member because you're a member of your local chamber of commerce, or that you give a lot of money to the ASPCA or any of the other United Way charities. That's not what's going to get you going again. It's going to take you. It's going to take some determination. It's going to take some grit. And you're going to have to buck up and be your own hero again. So one of the things that we want to talk about is how do I put myself in that position this week? How do I become the woman or the man that I was meant to be? How do I step in and embrace greatness? I want my business to be great. I want my marriage to be great. I want my family to be great. How do I get my business, my situation? We're in a quarantine. How do I get us back into that situation where there's a lot of techniques that you can do. There's this sales technique. There's that sales technique. Well, if you do this or do that, if you make 50 calls a day, you should get you 15 appointments. And if you get 15 appointments, that'll narrow it down to a couple of showings. All those proven sales techniques are great, but you know what? That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about what has to happen first before any of those techniques will work for you. Something inside has to happen. As you get ready to come out of this quarantine, you've got to be healthy, you've got to be mentally wealthy, and you've got to be ready. Something inside has to happen. So one of the first things I want you to remember, my first point of the day is actually my saying of the day. You did not come this far only to come this far. You didn't come this far only to come this far. If you think that life is ending right here for you, or that you'll never be anything else, then you've missed the point. You came this far because Everything that has happened up until now that you survived was intended to launch you into greatness. It was intended to make something different about you than everyone else. You didn't come this far only to make it this far. What a shame it would be to do everything you've done, all the education, all the parenting, all the bills and debts you've paid, only to be done in by a simple virus. And no, the virus is not that simple, but it's the fact that just a little bit of adversity shut you down. No, this was meant to make you. This situation is God made to catapult you to the next level. That's the way you've got to see it. I see opportunity. Yes, I see chaos, but I see opportunity. You did not come this far only to come this far. It's time now for you to realize it. It's time for you to shake yourself. And it's time for you to come out of this funk and get ready to launch your business, your association, or your situation to the next level. This moment was created for you to master. That's got to be the mindset. This moment was created for you. It's a hand-picked, handmade situation just for you, John, just for you, Adriana, just for you, Mary, just for you, Amanda, just for you. It was intended to be your moment to shine so that you can show the world that there's a difference between you and everybody else. You've always been waiting for your big shot. You've always been waiting for your moment. You've always been waiting for that thing that's going to differentiate you from everyone else. This is that situation you've been waiting for. So if you think you are that realtor, if you think you are that person, you're that woman, if you think you are that guy, now's your time. You're going to barbecue or mildew. You're going to step up or shut up. Right here, right now, this situation was made so that you can be the best that you can be. It's a handmade situation. Yes, there's a virus out there, but you got to be the one that shows people how to do business in a virus environment without getting the virus. Yes, people are scared, but you've got to be the voice that they're looking for that's going to ease their fears so that they're no longer scared again. Yes, people are going to be hesitant to do business, but guess what? You've got to be the one that causes them to lose their hesitancy. You've got to ease their fears and help them to understand that this market, your market with you right now, that they're safe in your boat. That everything else out there is sinking, but in your boat, right now, there's safety. And you've got to convince them. It's going to take a steady voice, it's going to take a great smile, and it's going to take a warm hand, and you've got to hold them and let them know we're going to make it through this thing together. You are so much stronger than you think. This thing didn't come to do you in, it came to lift you up, and this moment was created for you to master. This is your time to be great. I'm expecting you to be great. If you're one of my friends or you're an Orlando realtor and you're within the sound of my voice, I expect you to be great. Don't you bow down to this situation. Don't you bow to this situation. Don't you bend to this situation. This thing was made for us. And me and you together, we can't be beat. How can I lose with the friends I use? If I've got you on my team, we've already got this thing won. So all I need you to do right now is step up. We're going to step up together and be great for your family, be great for your children, and be great for your business. This Monday Morning Uplift is about letting you know that you didn't come this far only to come this far. It's time for you to be great. I see a lot of people are joining us. Thank you. I appreciate it. I can't hit the button for everyone, but hey, I want to let you know that I see you. I appreciate you and thank you. I want to also say that the greatest person that I ever met, people always say, Cliff, who would you like to meet? And I can always say I'd like to meet Muhammad Ali or Gandhi or I'd like to meet JFK. But those are people that are imaginary to me because I'll never meet them. But the greatest person that I've ever met thus far in my life was you. Yes, you are the greatest person I've ever met. Why? Because there's so much untapped potential in you and who you are that when you actually hit your peak, I just want to be there to say that I knew her when. When you actually do that thing that you were meant to do in life, no matter how big or no matter how small, I just want to be right there to say I knew him when. The greatest person that I've ever met was you because you did it. But in defining greatness, greatness is not about a statue in your name. Greatness is not about a street named after you or a car. Greatness is not about whether or not you made it in the history books. Greatness is something that is achieved every day by very natural people, normal people. What is greatness? Hall of Fame linebacker Ray Lewis defines greatness is a lot. He says that greatness is a lot of small things done well, stacked up on top of each other. Greatness is a lot of small things done well, stacked up on top of each other. So what it is it's a series of things that you do every day. Things that you do, but you do well, and one after the other, after the other, after the other, eventually puts you on that level that you always wanted to be on. But you've got to do things good every day, stacked on top of each other. See, it's not just about whether or not you help somebody one day, but did you help them the next day? And then did you go out of your way to make sure that the next person you helped, you did so much better than the last time? And then the next person, and the next person, and the next person. Greatness is when you specialize in helping people, but getting better at helping people every day. So it's one thing to sell a home and you got it closed in X number of days. That's great. But then the next time you want to sell a home, you want to add this to it or add that to it. You want to be better at the sales process. But now you don't just want to be better at the sales process, you want to be better at prospecting. But you don't want to just be better at prospecting, you want to be better at the close. You want to be better at causing people to feel like in buying their home, this was the best thing that's ever happened for them and their family. That's where you achieve greatness. It's a lot of small things done well, stacked up on top of each other. You can get there, and it's not very hard. All you need is a little bit of consistency. And consistency is something that obviously you must do it every day. But the hardest thing in the world that I've noticed, and our numbers are still climbing, is the hardest thing is to do work when no one else is watching. That's what this virus will do to separate the men from the boys and the girls from the women. Doing work and doing it well every day, consistently when no one else is watching. See, it's easy when you've got people looking over your shoulder, making sure you make your calls, looking at your software, CRM applications. It's easy when that's happening when you're sitting in the office and everybody's looking at you. And some of us don't work when we're sitting in the office anyway. But will you do it when no one is watching? See, the virus is going to separate the wheat from the chaff, as they say, because everyone who kept working, everyone who kept grinding, everyone who had a plan, everyone who kept on doing what they do every day without anyone else having to tell them to do it, their work's getting ready to shine, and they're going to come out and they're going to leap forward when this thing is over. In order for you to be the woman or the man that you want to be in life, what you've got to do is work and grind when no one else is watching. It doesn't matter. You don't do it for the audience. You do it for the love of the game. Can you do what you do for the love of the game, or is it only when people are watching that you shine? I got up this morning and I got in my car at 7 a.m. knowing that Orlando, the association, doesn't open until 8:30. But I had to get here. I had to make sure that the camera was right. I had to make sure the lights were great, because this is what I do. And I didn't have to worry or need to worry about whether or not any staff was here. I came on my own because it's who I am. I also want you to remember that life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So when you're truly ready to be who you're going to be, that happens when you walk away from what's natural to you. Before anything great can be achieved, your comfort zone must be disturbed. So, are you doing the exact same things you were doing with the exact same people and getting the exact same results? It's because you're walking in your comfort zone. What you've got to do right now is walk away from that. It's time for you to do something new. It's time for you to launch out and try something new with your business. You're not living until you're doing it and not knowing what tomorrow holds. You've got to begin to walk away from the things that are familiar and go into the unfamiliar and launch your business. Talk to a client that you normally don't talk to. Prospect where you normally don't prospect. Make sure you know what you're doing. Prospect where you normally don't. And reach out to people who are normally you wouldn't think would talk to you. You would be surprised at what type of business you get. But what's actually happening is you're no longer focusing on this coronavirus. You're out there living life again, and everything else is just going to catch up with you. Remember, before anything great can be achieved, your comfort zone must be disturbed. You got to walk away from what's comfortable. Some of the greatest things that I've ever done in my life have been done by the seat of my pants. Yeah, me. Some of the greatest things that I've ever done have been done by the seat of my pants. Now I specialize in walking on the edge. As a matter of fact, it scares a lot of people around me because they think I take unnecessary chances. No, I don't. I take calculated chances with the maximum amount of faith. I know that because I didn't come this far only to come this far, I have no reason to believe that things aren't going to work in my favor. Things are going to work in your favor too. Step away from your comfort zone, launch out into something new, and be great for yourself. Doing what is natural to you and doing what is comfortable are two different things. Doing what is natural to you and doing what is comfortable are two different things. You're supposed to do what's natural when things aren't comfortable. Hence, that's the reason you train and practice. You're supposed to do what's natural when things aren't comfortable. That's why you train and practice. That's why in the military they go through boot camp, because it ingrains a behavior in you. But doing what's comfortable only happens in naturally occurring situations. But when you master the unnatural, that's when greatness is going to happen and people will take notice of you. When you master the unnatural, that's when greatness is going to happen and people will take notice of you. We're halfway done today, and I want you to understand that now is the time for you to go out and master the unnatural. We're getting ready to open up America again. Whether it's time or not time, that's a debate for another day. So I'm not here today to talk about whether or not we should be in the streets or not. I'm here to talk about what are you going to do when you get there. What are you going to do that differentiates you from everybody else? Some of us are going to go back to the office and we're going to start our jobs again. Don't go back to the mundane. Oh my God. If it wasn't what you wanted when you left it, don't go back to it that way. Change the game. Don't just change the game. Change the way the game is played. Now it's time for you to make that change. Listen, we're in the midst of a pandemic, not just an epidemic, a pandemic. This is your time to shine. This is your time to step out and differentiate yourself. I was a different president. I'm a better president. I'm a better employee. I'm a better realtor. I'm better than those other realtors. This is your time to differentiate yourself and show who you are. Please make the most of this situation. Don't just lay around eating the bonbons and Snickers bars all day. Some of us are so big and bloated, talking about myself, and heavy, you just roll over in the bed eating sweets and drinking drinks. It's time now to break out of that mold, guys. The U.S. is going to open back up whether we want it to or not, and you're going to have to do business. So now it's time for us to find out who you are. John Maxwell once said that crisis doesn't make character, but it certainly reveals it. Crisis doesn't make character, but it certainly reveals it. If I want to know who you are, all I've got to do is look at your behavior in a crisis. Some people will run and hide. Some people will run to the fight. Are you the kind of person in a crisis that runs and hides? Are you the kind of person that'll step up and run to the fight? No, I didn't say run to get infected. I didn't say run to hurt somebody. I'm talking about stepping up and making a difference and letting people see that that's who you are, and that's why I want to do business with you. Crisis doesn't make character, but it certainly reveals it. I've been here, I think I've only not come to the office 3 days in the last 3 weeks because I've got employees here. That's the character that I want to show them, that they're not in the foxhole by themselves, that I'm here every day, and that if they're going to be out there serving our realtors, I'm going to be right here with them serving our realtors. I never left them sitting alone. Now, you've got clients out there, you've got people. It's time for you to show them your character through the crisis. Step up and make the calls, check on your clients, see if you can help them. Be the difference right now in Orlando. You are the difference, now be the difference. I know what it's like. You say, Cliff, I'm not always in the mood. Well, here's a couple of things that you've got to remember. When you're not in the mood, you've got to get yourself in the mood. You've got to get yourself in a situation, and you got to get out of that funk you're in. So someone asked me, Cliff, what do you do when these situations happen and you're not in the mood? I think I heard it said that I think I am who my granddad walked for. I am who my granddad walked for. And what that means to me is years ago in the 60s during the civil rights, as Dr. King and Dr. Abernathy and all the other greats who were, and Rosa Parks were protesting, they were doing it for me. And they were doing it so that I could sit here in this camera in front of you and tell you how great you are. They were being great for themselves so that I, 50, 60 years later, could be great for you and that you could be great for someone else. I always remember that I am who my granddaddy walked for. So who are you to the person that has prayed for you? You're that person. There's someone that's prayed for you. There's someone that stood by you. There's a teacher that taught you. There's someone that believed in you years ago when you didn't even know how to believe in yourself. You got to be that woman right now. You got to be that man right now. You got to be the child that your grandmama and that your granddaddy prayed for. That's where greatness begins. Greatness begins in appreciation and understanding that, you know what, a lot of people have invested a lot in me to get me to this point. I can't lay in this bed 1 minute longer. I can't sit in this chair 1 minute longer. I can't hold this list of people I need to call 1 minute longer because I'm letting down a lot of people who put in a lot of time to help me get where I am. People who never got the shot that I'm going to get. I've got to make sure that I make it all worth it. You've got to make sure that you do this because there's a lot of people depending on you. That should be the beginning of all greatness. Gratitude, appreciation. Appreciation for the circumstance, appreciation for where you are, appreciation for the opportunity. When I think about that, and when I think about the goodness that's there, I don't need motivation. I get up, get out, and make it happen. So those are just, there's always going to be challenges, but you've got to step up to the challenge. Well, Cliff, I want to jumpstart my business, but I don't know how. Well, again, like I said last week, go back to the beginning. So I've got 2 challenges that I just want to issue to everyone that's listening to me today. And everyone can do this in some sort of way. If you are a realtor, specifically, I want you to make 5 calls this week. Just 5 calls. You should be making more, but I want you to make 5 calls and talk to people about you, your business, and just find out what's going on with them and how they're making it through. Check on somebody. But if you did this, imagine if we had 16,000 realtors, and we do, and if all 5 of those, if all of those realtors just made 5 phone calls, that would be 80,000 calls. Now, what would happen if 80,000 calls were to happen this week in the city and the county, in the city of Orlando and Orange County? You would literally jumpstart your own business. You jumpstart the market. You would literally create a real estate revival in Orlando if I could just get you to make 5 calls. Now, imagine if you made 10. Imagine if you actually made the number your CRM is telling you to make. You would literally change your business. Someone would tell you, hey, I'm ready to do business with you. Someone would say, hey, how's the market right now? And our numbers are still going up right now. Someone would say, how is the market right now? If I could just get you to make 5 calls. If you're a broker and you're not selling, that's fine. Call 5 agents. 5 agents that you've been trying to recruit right now and tell them why they need to come to your business. Yes. Call 5 agents and tell them right now, I woke up, today it's Monday, I woke up thinking about you and what would happen if you and I were in business together. If you're an agent and that you're in charge of recruiting, call 5 people and say, guess what would happen if you and I were at the same company? Or if you're an agent and you're trying to sell business or drum up some business, call 5 people and say, now is the time to do business in real estate. If I could get everyone within the sound of my voice to just make 5 calls this week, you change everything in Orlando, and that's a promise. And if it doesn't happen, then do it next week, and I promise you that your life will change. The next thing I want you to do, the second challenge this week, I'm getting ready to come to my close, is I want everyone this week to perform at least 3 random acts of kindness. Yes, this is going to help your business. 3 random acts of kindness will set your business on fire because it'll set your spirit and your soul on fire. Yes, you can do it and still be practicing social distancing. One of the easiest ways that you hear everybody do is if you're at the drive-through, why don't you just pay it forward and pay for the person behind you's meal? Yeah, just pay for their meal randomly. One random act of kindness. Why don't you take one of the leads you have and give it to a new agent that's struggling? Yep, you heard me say it. Take some of the leads that you've invested in and reach out to an agent that just got started in your company and help them make a close in the midst of this pandemic. Imagine what would happen if you had 2 or 3 agents who saw you as the reason that they got started and were able to stay in business, and you're the one that changed businesses. Well, what happens 5, 10, 15 years from now when you're the broker and you're looking for agents? Yep, you've got it. You've got someone there that remembers when. You can make your own luck today. Just a couple of random acts of kindness, and you can actually change people's lives, but change yours for the better. The other day, I came home and there was a box on my door. And my family told me that my neighbor across the street, who we barely speak, when they went to the farmer's market, they decided that they were going to buy food for us too and other neighbors. So they just literally sat fruit and vegetables and things that were healthy on our doorstep, rang the doorbell, and said, "Hey, God bless you." You know what? That guy will never want for anything so long as I can help him. That's a random act of kindness. Today, I want all of Orlando's realtors and the staff here at the association, I want you to go out and do 3 random acts of kindness this week. You can do them anonymously, or you can leave your business card. Either way, I want you to see what happens to you inside and outside. It's going to bless your business, and it's going to bless who you are as a person. Again, you don't have to brag about it, talk about it, but I would like to hear some of your success stories. I'd like to hear some of the things that happened because you went out and made phone calls, and I want to hear some of the things that happened next week or this week. You can just email me at cliffl@orlandorealtors.org, or you can text me if you have my number. But it would be a blessing to me if you let me know some of the things that happened to you positively because you went out and practiced 3 random acts of kindness. Just by doing that, you will affect the way people see real estate and realtors all around Orlando. Just drop off some food at someone's house and pay for it. Remember, sometimes you got to make your own luck. I also want to ask everybody out there this week, call up one of your local politicians and tell them thank you. Tell them that they're doing a good job. Everybody don't call Buddy, and everybody don't call Jerry. If you got their numbers, call them. If not, call your local city councilor. Call your local school board member, especially those school board members, you parents. And call your local elected official and say, "Hey, I don't need anything. I don't have a complaint about anything. I just called on behalf of my business and the Orlando Regional Realtor Association to say we appreciate you and that you're doing a good job." If you do that, you will change our environment here in Orlando. In my close, I want you to remember, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And don't ever let your alarm clock be the only reason that you wake up. I love you. God bless you. It's going to be an outstanding week here in Orlando. I'm looking forward to hearing your success stories, and I want you to be awesome. If not for yourself, be awesome for me this week. God bless. Have a great day.